Hello, you guys. Where's there's the camera. I'm just making sure I'm looking the right direction. We have an amazing video today, and so sorry if my voice is a little weird. I get fall allergies now, which I've never had, and it's not enjoyable. Anyways, today's video we're going to talk about something very important, which is being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Because I think that, like, end of the day, that's really the most important part, is being the best possible version of yourself. And that doesn't mean being perfect, because we know that that's not really possible, but it's about going as far as we can and trying our best every day. And everyone has off days, and so that's part of it. But I'm going to break all of that down for you guys, and I've got a great story involved with it. It's a story from David Goggins. He's a big inspiration of mine, and he has this story called the Heaven's Gate story, and I found it very life changing, honestly. And so stick around for a bit, and we're going to check out the Heaven's Gate story. It's going to be really cool. Anyways, I want to talk to you guys about being the best possible version of yourself, because I think that at the end of the day, that is the core of being successful, is waking up every morning and just thinking, I am the version of myself that I want to be, and I'm doing hard work every day. I'm making sacrifices to achieve that goal. And I've done that. I've made a habit of it, and it's turned my life around completely. I went from a sad, self beating up, depressed teenage kid with no direction in life, and I was bombing in school. There will be story times. I'll go more into depth about how bad things were back then for me, and I don't want to have pity party, but we'll make a video about that one day. I want to be on positive vibes today, though, being awesome, being great. And I'm just here to show you guys that you can turn everything around. And I'm going to go from what I just described to insanely successful business influencer and entrepreneur outside of the creator space, which I'm also working on a video right now with an amazing business plan and idea, because obviously I cannot be talking to you guys about business and stuff until I have a business. So I'm sticking more right now to self development and being the person who is worth owning a business like that. And then once I start it, I'll take you guys on that journey, and then I can start to really speak on my experiences and my impression as a business owner. Because I own Scent Crafted. It's a business I run with my brothers where we sell fragrance decant samplers. It's really nice. We take a large bottle of cologne and we put it down into a smaller fragrance bottle. And so that does pretty well. I mean, we haven't gotten nearly as many sales as we'd like, but that's kind of also with a flooded market. I don't know if you guys know the competition or anything, but Scentbird, like, they've got it locked down. So yeah, that's my business, but it's not as successful as I would like it for it to be, and so I don't really call it a successful business yet. And I can speak on it, and I do speak on it, but once I have a majorly profitable business that I can actually work for and like have, and like not need a job and have it give me monthly income, that would be really great. But anyways, once I have that stuff, I can start standing on business and speaking about that. But for the time being, I'm just talking about becoming a better version of yourself and improving and developing every single day. And I talk about various different forms of that. But today we're talking about the being amazing, being the person you want to be. And that could mean a million different things. You don't want anyone to tell you what it means to be amazing. You want to be your version of that, because we're all unique. And you want to follow, like, you don't want to be the version that is unacceptable or goes against safety, or I don't know. I don't you get what I'm saying. Like, don't be passionate about something that's going to hurt other people. Don't be passionate about drug dealing. Don't be passionate about your ability to hurt other people. Don't be passionate about things like that. You know what I mean? Like find something that is good for the betterment of the world and pursue it nonstop and make it something that you love, because if you don't, you're going to face the ramifications of that in your everyday life. And what I mean by that is that if you're not putting your effort in your day-to-day life into becoming the person that at least you would like to be, then you're going to put your effort in your everyday life into being someone else or something else that you don't want to be. And you may not notice it because you're drowning in the moment gratification, instant gratification, but you are going to be walking down a sad, tragic path towards self resentment, unachieved goals, and mistakes. I mean, like, that's really all I can put it. And mistakes can sometimes be the best gifts. I don't want to say that when you make those decisions, your life is over. Not at all. I mean, you like some people make sacrifices because they are doing it for the betterment of other people, and I think that that's admirable. You just have to be aware of the sacrifice. You can't like pretend like it's not happening. Like if you want to feel fully fulfilled in life, no, honestly, sorry, I changed my mind because, and this is real, unfiltered, uncut, because a, if I weren't able to achieve any of my dreams, but I had a son or a daughter or a family or a spouse, and they needed me because they were just in the rough of, like, if we were per se stricken by poverty and I needed to step up with my wife and we needed to provide for our children and I was able to do so regardless of what it was, I would feel fulfilled. And I think that anyone should. Like if you're stepping up for somebody else, that's the ultimate sacrifice. You know what I mean? The that's the epitome of greatness. And so I'll say that there. But if you are blessed and privileged to be living a life in which you don't have to do that, if you're sitting here watching this as a younger person and you really haven't had that stuff set up in your life, then you are absolutely ridiculous not to be trying to achieve the best version of your possible self. And I'll tell you this, if you are actually giving everything up for somebody else, that's the best version of you. You know what I mean? Like you have been given a gift. I know that sounds crazy. I'm kind of not in the position to be saying this because I haven't had to do this in my life, and so forgive me if I shouldn't be saying this, but I view it as like per se. Let's say after you die, the lights don't just go away, and there's something to take away from it, or you get to experience whether your life was good or bad. If you actually did that for somebody and you gave everything up for them and you helped them and you gave them the world, that you would be that would look back. I would look back as that is amazing. And so I hope people who are in that position can view that they are still being the best possible version of themselves, and it's just they're being amazing people in a somewhat at times unfair world. Sorry, I'm gonna take a sip of my water. ASMR. I don't know if that was fucking terrible or not, but I did it. I did it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, another part. Be yourself, be goofy, be weird. If people say something, and these are all video topics, by the way, be yourself regardless of what other people think. You know what I mean? I'm going to make a video about that. Um, Another one being the things that you go out and work towards in life are the things that you will receive from life. That's another video I'm going to be making. I have so many videos in my brain that I'm going to work out. And as you can see, I'm not the most organized speaker. Like this isn't written down, organized. I'm not like I'm in school. I'm a student. I've got a lot going on. I've got so much to do. I'm trying to set up a business. I have another business and I'm trying to make all this content, and so I only have so much time to sit down and make content. Sorry. I only have so much time to sit down and make content, but when I do, I am here. I'm trying to be as in the moment with you guys, and I really try and make it feel like I'm really having a conversation with you, because the hardest thing for me when I see people making content is that I can't talk back, and it sucks. And I feel like if I can try and make it feel as genuine and as connected as possible, like I see you, I know I can't physically see you, but I'm speaking to you because it's beyond just physical at this point. Like I am there, you're watching this, I'm there speaking to you right now, and I am telling you, whoever, whatever your name is, you can be the best possible version of yourself, and you get to decide what that looks like. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You can be amazing. You can do anything. Just work on it. Make sacrifices and don't follow a life of instant gratification, because it's not going to lead you anywhere. And yeah, this may not be what you want to hear. Like, it may not be what you want to hear. Probably not what anyone wants to hear. It's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted the instant gratification, and I wanted to be able to do all the amazing things in life and just be super cool and get it all. And that's just not how it works. That's not how it cuts out. And that's called being selfish and entitled. And I just didn't understand it. And so now I have the realization that it takes sacrifice, it takes hard work. Like, I'm in the position to be out partying every night in college and wasting my money, wasting my time, having a great time, and doing whatever, but I'm not. I'm here. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you guys, all you girls, whoever's watching. I'm here talking to you guys because I care about myself. I care about you. I care about my future. I care about your future. I care about our future. And so I want to be here creating a better world rather than out there creating a worse world. And that's my honest opinion. I don't think that you're creating a worse world by going out and partying. But if you're doing it every night, then yeah, you are, because you should be out there bettering the society. Like, I really think that if you're um, privileged enough to live in America, and I know there's nowadays there's people like who are in really bad positions in America and stuff, but I feel like the country itself, if you live in America and you're not mentally ill, physically disabled, or legally underage and controlled by somebody else, then you should be doing whatever you can to try and make, not whatever you can, but you should be putting a little bit of effort into trying to make the environment better. And if you're not doing that, then what the heck? And the best way to do that, by the way, is to make yourself better. Because if I'm a better person, I'm a better community member. And the community member is just made up of people. And so if we have people who are more in line with their better selves, because we're all good people, there's just good people being in line with their better selves, and there's good people being in line with their not so better selves. And they're still both good. Sometimes there's good people doing terrible things. Like I really believe in my heart, like, it's hard, but if you look at the worst people of all time, the highest of the highest of I believe moral and philosophical, in philosophy, one would say the opposite to the worst of actions is the highest of actions. And to be done together, or together, that was weird. To be done together, you would need to have the worst things of all time. And then if you could view them as, like, let's say you view the worst people of all time as little babies, and you'd say, oh yeah, I'd still I'd still mess up that baby. But what if you treated that baby with kindness and careness, or care? And like, people always say, like, would you go back and kill the worst people of all time? And obviously it's a paradox. Like, you couldn't, because then you would never have to, and then you never would have, and then you would still have had to, and then you would have, and then you never would have had to. But anyways, that's a paradox. Anyways, if you were to go back and do whatever to the worst people of all time, wouldn't it be more morally justified to just treat them kind and have them end up kind people? Like, there's a quote from Harry Potter, and I know this is super off topic, but there's a quote from Harry Potter where he says, Voldemort did amazing things, terrible things, but amazing things. And it speaks to the fact that if people who have done the most amazingly terrible things of all time would have just been led in the better direction and fostered in a better environment, then imagine the good they could have done for the effect that they have on this planet. If they were in an environment of positivity and an environment of support, and sometimes support is hands off support, like it's not, I'm not saying coddle people, but I'm saying if you have one person who grows up in a negative environment and another person who grows up in a positive environment and they have the same exact DNA, I will show you a positive effect on the world making person and a negative effect on the world making person. And that is not always the case because sometimes people have external influences. It's not always that. Oh, low battery symbol. Just wanted to get rid of that really quickly, make sure it's still recording, which it is. But it's not always that simple because sometimes there's external positive influences like a teacher or a TV show inspiration. Like you've all, I don't know if you guys, I'm old, so I don't know if you guys have seen Matilda or not, but she's this girl and she has like special powers, but she grows up in a terrible circumstance with terrible aunts and uncles or step parents or whatever. And she becomes a wonderful girl. And like that's totally possible. But I would say that all outside of fiction, most of the time those people require some type of a good influence in their life. Like if you grow up, I don't know how to explain it. It's like people who grow up, if you grew up I'm struggling to think of what to say without like being offensive or anything because my mom doesn't want me to get canceled or in trouble or anything. But if you grew up and it was entirely acceptable to kill dogs because it was 10,000 years ago or however long ago, and dogs were just wolves basically and they were competition for food, like obviously you wouldn't hate that person. Like now, if somebody killed a dog, like I would be very upset with them. But if it was back then, like that's just life. And we learned from it. We learned that they can be companions, and same with other animals. Like I have two geckos and a chameleon, and I love them. They're the best. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm going on a total goose tangent. But anyways, the point I'm making is that if you there's good people and there's good people trying to be their best and there's good people not trying to be their best, and it kind of depends on the environment, and it kind of depends on a bunch of other super complex things, and that's why I kind of got lost there, is because it's just there's so many things that affect it, and so I don't want to be making black and white statements. But give me a second. I don't know if that was enjoyable or terrible or not. We'll watch that back, but you guys are gonna see it anyways. Oh, all right. I'm through all the hogwash. I'm done making you guys wait. I want to talk to you about the story, the David Goggins story, and how it connects to all of this. And it's one of my favorite stories. It's called the Heaven's Gate story. So I want to set the scenario for you. All right. So let's say heaven, whatever you want to call it, paradise, whatever. Let's say you die and you go to heaven. You're like, "Oh god, okay. Oh, cool. Heaven and hell. That's what it was." And oh, cool, I made it to heaven. That's great. And God sitting there, Jesus sitting there, whoever, whatever is sitting there, Buddha, they're all lined up and they're saying, welcome, you made it to heaven. Congratulations, you're here. And right before you're about to get into heaven, they say, we have somebody for you to meet. And you're like, all right, cool. All right, makes sense. And out comes like the coolest person you've ever seen. And you start talking to them and they're just like so cool. They're doing all the or they've done all the cool things that you were interested in too. And they just took it so far and they're just like super interesting. They know so much about all the things you like and are interested in, and you're really vibing and enjoying this person's company. You're so excited to spend the rest of eternity with this person and so many others in heaven. And you're like, all right, God, let me in. I'm ready. We're ready. Let's go. And God says, well, they're not going with you. And you're like, there's no way they're going down there. They're amazing. They're awesome. And God goes, well, yeah, but they're not real. That's who you could have been. And you're like, oh, so so I get to go, and that's great, but that's what I could have been. And I think about that all the time because it's not like that's what's going to happen, but it's just like a human story to set the tone and set an example of the fact that the decisions you make in this life are eternal. You know what I mean? There's no going back. There's no redoing them. And so why wouldn't you try and aim so high with your ambitions and your endeavors? And so, yeah, anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed that story. I hope that you can understand the connections that I made and how it can all wrap together to create a productive individual who is trying to aim for that high level, that person they meet at the gate, that more knowledge about the things you like, that passionate and worked and actually had a profession in the field that they wanted to pursue. And they never settled for less in life except for at the cost of others' happiness, and while prioritizing themselves too and creating a positive environment for everyone. Like these are the people that every person should be striving to become. If you become that version of yourself, you will be so much more achieved in your own heart. You will be kinder. You will be more positive. That will cause you to be happier because you're not going to be happy if you achieve all your goals and you're not kinder and more positive. But you'll be happier if those two things come with it. You'll be more organized. You'll be more content. You'll be If you do all those things, you'll probably be loved more by people. You'll probably be appreciated more. You'll be recognized more. Not because you're doing anything like showboating or anything. You'll be richer. You'll be more successful. You will be more successful. That was just 10 things, but there's so many things that'll come from it. And so I really want to stress to you guys, aim for that person that you would meet at Heaven's Gate. Aim for the you that you would always wish you could be, because you will not achieve it. We're always going to want to need that next level, but when the day will come when you realize you're far closer than you ever would have been had you not tried. And on that note, I will see you guys later. Much love. Peace.